I'm Lizzie Harrison for Card Player TV, here today with Blair Hinkle. Now, congratulations on winning the $2,000 Buy No Limit event.
Thank you, thank you.
But you weren't the first Hinkle to win a bracelet this year. Your brother already got you.
Yeah, I know. He came out here for the second event, the 1500, came out firing and won it. He only comes out for that event usually.
Really? So how impressed were you?
Oh, I was amazed that he even went through that. That field had like 4,000 people.
Absolutely,
and,
being one of the first events.
Yeah, and he goes through and takes it down. I mean, I was at the final table. It was a blast. So I was really happy for him. And then he was watching me online. He tried to get a flight out here to come for mine, but Kansas
he was already
City
back home, yeah?
Yeah, it was all booked up, so he had to watch it on online, but he said it was a blast.
Yeah, well, I know I've seen you a lot on the tournament circuit the last year, all the World Poker Tour events, but does your brother play a lot?
He doesn't play as many live tournaments, but he likes to play online, play the tournaments, the no limit stuff. He's done pretty well, and so I was happy to see him come out here and have success right off the bat.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about your win for a little bit. I mean, that was a great accomplishment, a no limit event. They attract so many players. Were you among the chip leaders on day one of the event?
Yeah, I think I was. I tried to check updates. I think I was 11th going into day two. I got a good start on day one, and then day two.
How do you build your stack up in these events where you start with would you start with 4,000 chips?
Well, actually,
you start down on someone.
Yeah. Early on, I got down to like 2,000 chips, and I ended up getting kings in the big blind when it went raise, re-raise. So I'm like, all right, ship it. I'm gonna triple up.
Absolutely.
And then it went call, ace, king, and aces, and I hit the one remaining king the first hour of the tournament, and from there the table broke right after that. I got moved to another table, and I got up to went from 7,000 to about 25,000 in about 10 hands.
Wow! Right on day one, within an hour of starting, 2 hours of starting.
Yeah, in the first two levels, and after that, I was able to just kind of hang around and slowly build my chips until. Some other players just kind of handed me their chips on the way. So
that's always nice.
Yeah, I mean, the suck out was amazing, and then after that, I got some good cards and got everything going.
Well, I noticed you were also at the top of the chip counts on the end of day two, and so was Dustin Dirksen, who went into the final table with you. Was that just an up and down battle with you two?
Well, yeah, at the end of day two, we hadn't played at all, and then at the end of day two, we got stuck together coming into the final table.
Were you familiar with his play before the event?
I knew he was a really good player, and I was worried about him, but I mean, I usually don't let a player push me around.
Definitely
and
not.
He kind of did. He showed me what's up pretty quick. He pulled a pretty nasty bluff on me, and he showed his cards and whatever. At that point I knew that it was going to be me and him a lot of times, and so I was worried about him going into the final table when we both had a lot of chips. And
then tell me a little bit about the final table. How'd that go? I mean, obviously well, but
yeah, it went well.
Any key points, important hands that helped you win the bracelet?
Yeah, definitely. There was a big hand between me and Dustin with about 6 or 7 players left. He raised under the gun. I called from the button with ace-9, and the flop came air, and he checked. I checked. He bet the turn about 2/3 pot, and I didn't really believe him. So I called. I was going to call off a river bet, but the river card game brought out a flush possibility, and the board was paired. And he bet again, and I just didn't really believe him at all, so I just raised him. And I decided not to show my bluff, but it took a lot of chips from him, and that's
What did
really...
you put him on there?
I put him
on air?
Yeah, I put him on nothing, but his nothing could have beaten my ace reg, so I just kind of figured I'd raise him, and also I figured he wouldn't call me with a weak pair.
Right. That's a scary board.
Yeah, I really wanted to take him off his game early, and I was able to do it with that hand. And then after that, he ran into some monsters and just kind of busted out.
Yeah, that can happen. That's easy.
Yeah.
So tell me about heads-up play. Were you just in control the entire time?
Well, heads-up...
brings a smile to your face.
Yeah, heads-up play wasn't really... There wasn't much play. There were like 8 or 10 hands, and I won every single one, so it was pretty easy.
Did you have to adjust your play at all, or how did you adjust your play, or was the chip lead just such that it played itself?
Yeah, I had a feeling when we were down to 3-handed that neither of the other players really wanted to bust when they were so even in chips, and I had the bigger stack. And so I was trying to put as much pressure on them as I could. I was just raising, and hoping that they would just keep folding. And then the times that they put it in, I actually had hands, and a lot of times they had me beat, and I happened to suck out. with 6s versus 8s, but I was all in something like 14 or 15 times at that final table, and I think I won 5. So I'm hoping that it was evening itself out, and that one psych out I had against Daniel O'Brien with three-handed was huge for me. And then once it got to heads up, I felt so confident with my heads up play because I've played a lot of heads up online, and it worked out well.
Well, it must have been great to finally win a tournament, win the bracelet. I've seen you go deep in so many events.
Yeah.
Actually, at the LAPC, you finished 11th, right?
Yeah.
I remember that we spoke to Phil Ivey after that, and he said that your play from 18th down to the final table impressed him more than anybody. What do you think about that?
Well, that's a huge compliment coming from him because I've always looked up to him. Whenever I started playing, I was always like, everybody always wants to be Phil Ivey, you know, when you're picking out pros and you want to act like one of the best, and he's
like a superhero.
Yeah, exactly. He's the guy. He's the Tiger Woods in this game. So it was awesome to hear the compliments coming from him, and I'm really glad he was nice about it because I did give him a lot of chips. Maybe that's why he said it. I bluffed off a lot of chips to him in that tournament, so he went on to win that, and yeah, I'm glad I got another chance because I really felt like I screwed up my one chance back in LA. Yeah.
Well, you did it. You clinched this one. Your parents must be really proud of you, too.
Yeah, they're really happy for both of us. I mean, when I first decided that I was going to stop going to school and start playing the live tournaments,
I'm sure they were skeptical.
They were pretty skeptical.
Is it a nice way to put it?
Yeah, they were pretty skeptical, and they've both been so happy. Like, it was really good to get a deep finish in LA, and then now they know that I can play, so they're happy for me, and it's been a lot of fun for both of them. I mean, my mom came out to both my brother and my final table.
And that's great. Were you from the Midwest, Illinois?
Yeah, Kansas City.
Kansas City,
Kansas City, Missouri, yeah. And she flew out for both of our final tables, and she loves it. I mean, she thinks it's
Vegas
so much
vacations.
fun. Yeah, exactly.
Well, thank you so much for coming up. Again, congratulations, and I'm sure we'll see you again, Blair.
Definitely.
Lizzie Harrison with Blair Hinkle for Card Players eBay.